There are two ways to install a DNS server. One is to go to your admin tools and choose to manage your server, and you can add or remove a role. Clicking on this will set up a wizard here, and the wizard will scan through to see what roles you currently have. If you scroll down the list, we'll see that I've already actually got DNS installed as a role on this server. But if that were no, you could click next and go through the wizard, and that would set up DNS. A second way to set up DNS would be to go to your control panel, add or remove programs, add or remove Windows components. And in the list here, we'll have networking services. For the details of that, we have a variety of services here. One of them is DNS. So you would check DNS, you would click OK, you would click Next, and that would install the DNS service. Once installed, you'll have DNS in your admin tools. So admin tools, DNS, and here we go. Here's the DNS server. Now, right out of the box here, once you install DNS, there should be no forward lookup zones and no reverse lookup zones. And what you've got yourself right now is a caching-only DNS server. Now, typically, you're installing DNS to be authoritative for a particular zone. So, for example, let's say you're working for the XYZ Corporation, then you would need to create a forward lookup zone by right-clicking forward lookup zone, saying New Zone, for the XYZ.com corporation. So, going through the wizard here, we'll just do that. We'll set up a fake zone here for XYZ.com. And you've got several choices here for a forward lookup zone: primary, secondary, stub zone, etc. We're just going to choose primary at this point and click Next. And which DNS servers do you want to replicate this information to? Well, I got this information, this window here, because I chose to store the zone information in Active Directory. So let's actually just set up a standard DNS server outside of Active Directory and click Next here. Now they ask you, okay, what's the zone name? So again, let's say it's the XYZ Corporation, and let's say they've got a forward lookup zone for xyz.com. And the whole point here is that you've got hosts in that domain, and the host names need to be resolved to IP addresses. So they tell you with standard DNS, a file name will be created with a .dns extension. And we'll take a look at that file after we finish off the wizard here. And finally, with the wizard, another choice is dynamic updates. For the time being, we're not going to allow dynamic updates. And that's the wizard. So once the wizard is created and completed, we now have a forward lookup zone for xyz.com. Now let's take a look at the file in the file system just so you see that, yes, that was created. So in my computer, it's going to be in the C drive, Windows, System32, DNS. And in that directory, we have xyz.com.dns. So there's our forward lookup zone. You can open that up with Notepad. And there is our zone database file. So at this point, it's very, very simple. Going back to DNS, in our zone, we actually only have two records, an SOA record and an NS record. So those are the only two records in our zone database file, so that's why it looks very, very simple at this point. But of course, with setting this up completely, the zone database file can become very, very complex very fast.